Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a video talking about the ethics of AI in the PR field. I'm Fiona.
And I'm Emily.
And we're just going to be having an open conversation, like I said.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about press releases, how AI is working itself out in the marketplace, just really a bunch of different conversations about how this looks.
Yeah. So let's get started. I guess kind of a launching point from that was just this quote that actually one of our writers wrote in a blog post just about how to use AI ethically, and I thought it would just be a good launching point just to start off the conversation. So she was actually talking back and forth with ChatGPT, just like asking if it was ethical, and I thought that was a great way to like use it to be just like creative and just ask it what it thought about that. So, but this is actually one of the responses that it gave back to her, which I thought was really interesting. It said, AI itself is not capable of being ethical or unethical. The ethical implications of AI are determined by how it is developed, deployed, and used by humans. So I think that quote was just really helpful to think about, because as we as PRAI are, seeking to use seek to use AI, and in the PR field, it can be really easy for people to be like, well, why would you use AI? It's just unethical, or it's not helpful, or, it can just infringe on people's privacy rights, or it's just, it's not a human. But it's like, well, AI is coming and people are using it, and it's gonna happen, and we have to be ready for that. So I think the question is not is AI ethical, but how are we using it ethically, and just making sure that our use of it is actually, for the best of the people that we're trying to serve. Yeah. So
I think the biggest pushback that I've been seeing recently is in press releases, because AI isn't capable of human empathy, because it's not a human. That's what humans do best. We have empathy. Right. And so when there's a tragedy that occurs and a press release is released, AI does well in releasing a press release quickly. Yeah. That's what we want to use it for. But do you think it's ethical when we do if somebody does a press release and it's all been manufactured by AI and it's a tragedy?
Yeah, to me, I think if you have a story like that or something like a tragedy that comes up, okay, use AI as a launching board for, maybe what you're going to say and to maybe generate some content, but you really don't want a message like that to just be completely AI generated.
Yeah, avoid of human touch.
Just completely avoid, because that's very human, and people, there's tragedies that happen, people die, these are serious things.
And this is specifically in the container of crisis management. These are the PR professionals that we're talking to, who are watching right now. This is who we're talking to. So keep going with that, but no, people just want to know that you as a person and as a company are actually there for them and are the ones responding, and it's not like, oh, well, we just saw that this tragedy happened, so we just threw this in AI and it just generated this, and we don't actually really care. Maybe a pushback is that they did care and they wanted to get it out as quickly as possible, and thought the best way would be to use AI. But the way that the public views AI right now is that, as we said in our first video, 50% of America thinks that AI is scary and they don't know how to handle it. Yeah. So when somebody sees a press release from AI, they're going to think, that seems like that's not caring, and that's not loving, and that's not, has the human touch. Right. So from a company's perspective, the ethical thing might not be to send it out fully through AI. Right. It might be to use AI and leverage AI, like what PRAI supports doing, but using your human touch to look it over, to maybe use some more
empathetic language,
editing, and sign it off with a human signature. That's something that AI can't do. Right.
Yeah, no, for sure. And especially because it's the last 50 years, people have been writing press releases and doing this manually, and just because AI has come up doesn't mean that you just completely let it do everything, especially for situations where it is really tragic and there are real people involved who have been hurt. And it's as you're handling crises, it's so important that you are showing up and you're showing that you care to mitigate that crisis. And I think that's so important. That is a huge part of just using it ethically.
And I think that this quote does a good job of kind of saying AI doesn't have to dictate how we accept AI. Humans get to place the boundaries. And I think that that's something where everybody's so scared of AI, but then who's going to place the boundaries of what's ethical and how we're going to embrace it? And I think that's what our company does well. We're really trying to be the people who are humanizing and harnessing AI.
Yeah, for sure. I think something, just to move on this conversation, something I was thinking about the other day, based off a quote that I saw from a similar company that's doing, something similar to what we are, just trying to leverage AI in other fields. But something they were saying is that it takes so many years to gain people's trust. Mm-hmm. And then when you can lose it in a second, I mean, that's a serious thing. Yes. So it's important to really think about these issues as this big, software called AI is coming out, because you spend so much time just doing all of these things, these campaigns to just gain people's trust. And then once, if you have one slip up where you use AI and use it in an unethical way, or you make someone feel uncomfortable, they're not going to trust you anymore.
And that's what public relations is all about. Yeah. It's at the core, trust and gaining trust with your public. Yep. And so, in a moment, if that's broken, that's your whole career and company kind of crumbling. Yeah. So that's a big gamble, and that's a big thing that you need to try to be juggling, which is hard. And that's something that we're trying to give tools to and trying to have the conversations about ethics with. So. Yeah, for sure. And I think something one of our writers was writing in their blog, just talking about being transparent. I think that's a really important thing when it just comes to anything, really, but especially with AI, just being really transparent with your public, that they know exactly what your policies are on using AI and using their data, on how their information is being used. I think that's just really important to be really transparent about all of that and not hide it, not don't make a statement at all. Like sometimes making a statement is even worse than saying something or not saying something. So you got to make sure you're saying, hey, this is how we're using your data, and here's how, our privacy policy, and this is how AI is actually being used and how it's going to affect you and our company, just so that they know and are aware of it, and they feel comfortable that you're being so open with them. So there's open communication. Yes. Your public should be able to see what your guidelines are on using AI.
Right.
And that's, in public relations, a branch of that is public affairs, and that's, it's having to deal with the government, and a lot of government systems are releasing how they're using AI so that any of their citizens can view what their stance is on using AI and what their protocol is, and I think that that's a great place to start. And is it the best solution? I don't know yet, but it's a great place to start. And so I think that's great with transparency.
Yeah, for sure. And I think even just transparency internally with your companies, just making sure that everyone in your company knows that there is a policy to follow, and that, you can't just step out of the bounds and do something on your own just because you think it's fine. Like there needs to be a decision-making process with this. And if you're not sure, or you're feeling a little like, oh, is this maybe not the best thing? Then just fall back on doing it yourself. I mean, we've, again, like we said, people have been doing this for so long. Just do it yourself if you're not sure, because you'd rather have the situation where you just had to throw in a little extra work than doing something unethical that broke the trust with your public.
And when you say do it yourself, you mean have an open conversation with people. Have an open conversation in your workplace like we're having now about ethics, because it's going to make everybody be more transparent, have the guidelines, and flesh out what you actually mean by what are your policies and standards. And it's going to make everybody in the workplace better and have better guidelines.
Yeah, and we want to hear from you guys too, what you all think about just ethics in the workplace, and especially with use of AI, and just what you guys have found as being struggles or hard things, or even just you watching this video. What would you want as someone, a consumer of a specific product, that company using AI, how would you want them to use it in your information? And that's something I've tried to think about, like putting myself in the shoes of the consumer, of the publics that we're trying to reach. It's like, okay, how would I want my data to be used? How would I want to interact with these people? And like, what's gonna make me feel comfortable? And I think that that's the best way to really make this, comfortable for other people, is thinking about it in your own shoes and how you would feel.
Exactly. As PR specialists, putting on many different hats of, as you putting out the information, and then as your public, how they're gonna receive it. So we definitely want to hear from you guys.
So comment, and I mean, you can always go on our page and just contact us or send us a message, but we would love to just hear how you guys are doing that, or your struggles with that. But let us know and comment below.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Have a good day.